Hello, my name's Sam. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be my quarterly wrap up for all the books I've read in the first 3 months of 2025. I read 24 books so far this year, and I don't feel like I read enough books in each month to justify doing a full video for a monthly wrap up. So this is kind of my excuse to talk about all the books that I've read and just like say anything that has popped into my mind over the last 3 months. I want to go through this as just like kind of like a chatty video. I haven't really like planned anything. I just want to say what comes to mind, what has stuck in my head with all these books that I've recently read. I wanted to start off by naming every book that I read so far and the rating that I gave it, and then I'm going to talk about books that I have good things to say about, books that I have bad things to say about, and then I'm going to talk about some books that I thought I would like more. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. 3.5 to 4 stars depending on what part of it I'm thinking of at the time. Big Swiss by Jen Began, 4.5 stars. The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang, 2 stars. The Brides of High Hill by Niveau, 4 stars. A Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas Westerbeek, 2 stars. The Other Side of Night by Adam Hamdy, 2.5 stars. The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates, 5 stars. Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, 4.5 stars. My Husband by Maud Ventura, 4.5 stars. Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis, 5 stars. The Adult by Bronwyn Fisher, 2.5 stars. This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone, 3 stars. When We Lost Our Heads by Heather O'Neill, 3.5 stars. My bangs are really aggressively sticking out. Is that better? Is that better? It's still doing it? Oh my gosh. That looks really silly. Is that better? I can't even tell. We're just gonna go with it. How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler, 5 stars. Annie Bot by Sierra Greer, 3 stars. Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, 4 stars. Home is Where the Bodies Are by Jennifer Rose, 2.5 stars. Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage, another 3.5 to 4 stars depending on what I'm remembering about it. Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson, which I reread and would still consider my all-time favorite book, 5 stars. How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz, 5 stars. I Got Abducted by Aliens and Now I'm Trapped in a Rom-Com by Kimberly Lemming, 3 stars. Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, 3 stars. The Enigma of Room 622 by Joelle Dicker, 1 star. And Outline by Rachel Cusk, 3 stars. Okay, now the good. Okay, first off, everything I want to say positive things about. Big Swiss by Jen Began. This is about Greta, who works transcribing therapy sessions for a sex therapist, and then she becomes enamored with one of the patients, and then she hears her voice out and about and kind of intertwines their lives. Greta is just a hilarious character. She's one of the characters that I love where they're like the main character of the story, but they don't give main character energy. They're kind of chaotic, they're kind of lazy, they're just kind of existing, making bad choices, but in a lazy way. That's the best way that I would describe these kind of characters. And she is very much that. She lives in this house that is swarming with bees and stink bugs and has no insulation, and she just well, this is my life. I guess I just live in this random ass house. And this book was just hilarious. One of the funniest books I've read recently. She has the transcripts in the book, and I need to find the spot. Yeah, so there's the transcripts in the book, and while she's transcribing, she'll kind of pipe in with her 2 cents, and all the characters are funny. The things that she pops into the transcripts are funny. I just love a funny book. If a book can make me laugh, I am guaranteed to it's automatically going to be a 4-star book, because I love laughing in a book, and this is one of the funniest books I've read recently for sure. The only thing holding this back from a 5 was at around the 75% mark. I felt like the book had kind of run its course and it didn't really have anywhere else to go, and it just kind of ended. The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates is just an amazing writer, and he narrates the audiobook for this one, so I definitely recommend listening to the audiobook. This one is about, it's a collection of short stories where he's mainly talking about people he has encountered like in his travels, like activists in his travels. He traveled to Palestine, he traveled to Africa for the first time, and he traveled to meet with someone who was defending themselves after losing their job or their job being threatened for teaching one of his other books. So it's about book banning, and it was about like writing and storytelling, and it was just an amazing read. In the same vein, we have Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis. This is a collection of her past essays, speeches, interviews, where she talks about intersectionality, prison reform, oppression throughout history and around the world. She talks about Palestine and South African apartheid, and so much more. Because it was a collection of like all those things, essays and speeches and interviews, it did feel a bit repetitive, but I actually liked that because I felt like it really drove home certain topics and things that she was talking about. So I actually really liked that aspect. And yeah, Angela Davis is just amazing. And a lot of the things that she's talking about are still very relevant today, which was just infuriating, but it made the book that much more important. My Husband by Maud Ventura. This one actually really surprised me. It's about a woman who is obsessed with the love she has for her husband, and it's stream of consciousness. You're kind of following her throughout the week, and you're just like listening to her get more and more like unhinged in her like love and her obsession for her husband. And I was kind of, sorry, I'm getting really distracted by like these hairs. It's like feels like a like an evil mustache, but like with my bangs. I'm wondering if I should try to tame it because I'm gonna like edit this video and like hate how my hair looks. That looks a little silly. Okay, I had to fix it. It was really distracting. Where was I? So yeah, I started off kind of like not knowing what to think about it, like maybe being a little bit bored, or it took a while to like pull me in. Like it kind of felt like it was slowly pulling me in, and then the ending just solidified it for me. Like this couple is fucked, and I just absolutely loved it. I'd say my favorite book that I've read so far this year is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. We are following Davi, who is in a time loop situation, and she is trying to save the kingdom from the Dark Lord, but she keeps dying, and whenever she dies, she just respawns back to where she started. And after dying the last time, she just gets incredibly fed up and decides to switch tactics. So instead of defending the kingdom from the Dark Lord, she decides that she's going to become the Dark Lord. And it was funny. There's lots of like fun like side characters in there. Like it's like she's in like a fantasy video game. There's like orcs, there's stone people, there's like fox wilders, they're called snake wilders, deer wilders, and the humor was funny. And I just love when plans work out. That is like one of my favorite things. It reminded me of that aspect of Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Like totally different vibe, but same kind of like, you see like part of the planning process, and then you see the whole picture of like everything working out with the plans. And sometimes I just like when things go well for characters, and I just love the characters. Like I love Davi as a main character, like that she's like in this situation and she's kind of like stopped giving a shit, and it just like adds a really fun element to that. I also feel like the pacing was really good. We weren't in one kind of situation for too long. Like the situation was explored, I feel like, enough, and then we moved on before it kind of got repetitive or like it felt like too much. I also feel like Django Wexler did a really good job of making sure there weren't like any plot holes. Like there wasn't really anything that I felt like, oh, that didn't really make sense, or like I felt like needed more information. Like I just felt like the book was just really well done. I'd say one of the most surprising books that I read was How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz. Surprising because I just picked this up because I saw it at the library, and I thought, you know what, it's short, and I liked the synopsis of it, and I really like a book where I feel like it's going to be a quick read. Like this one has kind of like some mixed media stuff in there. It's about Cara Romero, and she is an elderly woman, an immigrant from the Dominican Republic. She has recently lost her job at a factory, and so she has to do this like counseling work program to try to find a new job. And she has to do 12 sessions with a counselor. And it's just her talking through her life with the counselor, and she's just kind of going off on these tangents, and through that you learn about her friendships, her relationships with like her mom and her sister and her son, and just the people that live in her building, and you just get to know her. And she's one of those characters where she's like she would give you the shirt off her back. Like she would do absolutely anything for you if you asked, but she also is like kind of annoying and overbearing and overwhelming, but she would just do absolutely anything for you. And I really liked her as a character, and I like just felt like this book ended up being so much more than what I went into it thinking it was gonna be, and it was like unexpectedly heartwarming. And through her stories you really get a sense of who she is as a person. And yeah, it was like a sleeper hit. Like it was really unexpected. I didn't expect that I was gonna love this much. Special shout out to Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I read this book for the first time in 2021, and I thought it would be fun to reread it on vacation. I just wanted like a really good like memory of reading this book. I listened to it the first time on audiobook back in 2021, and then I really wanted to read it physically so I could annotate it, and it didn't disappoint me. I was nervous to reread it because I consider it my favorite book of all time, but it didn't let me down. It solidified its place for me as my favorite book of all time. And it is about Lillian, who, when asked by her old friend Madison to do her a favor, she agrees to be like a nanny slash governess for her stepchildren who just so happen to spontaneously combust. And through her being this like nanny figure to them, she is like healing her inner child, but like doing it in like the most chaotic way possible. It's like found family. It's so heartwarming, and it's funny. Like Lillian as a character is just hilarious. This book is just hilarious. And yeah, it's just absolutely perfect. Like I'm so happy. Just tabbing up my favorite books just makes me so happy. This is the best time I have had reading so far this year, was rereading this on vacation. And special shout out because I also like buddy read this. So we were on vacation and I read it with my brother's girlfriend, and she was reading it for the first time and I was rereading it. So it was so fun to just like park our asses in our like chairs in front of the pool and just read this book at the same time and like talk about it as we were reading it. And like it was like 1,000 out of 1,000 reading experience for me rereading this. Okay, now let's go into the bad. We have The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang. I loved the idea of this being like a wide-spanning queer romance, but I felt like the romance was tell, not show. Like every time you were able to get like an explanation of things, it was just like, oh, well, we've known each other in a past life. I know I've known you in a past life. I can just feel it. But even like the OG timeline, I thought we were gonna get like, be able to see more of like that love. Like maybe that was like a grand love, but it wasn't. Like it wasn't really even explored. So I didn't feel like I got enough from the OG timeline to then carry that love throughout supposedly these other times in history. Also, the 3 timelines just like took me out of the story, because like you'd get a bit from like the BC timeline and then you'd go to like the 1700s timeline. I can't really remember the order that they went in, but either way you'd get one of these older timelines and then you'd switch to present day and they're like doing Molly at a rave, and it just like completely took me out of the story. Also, I feel like it had opportunities to explain things. Like it kind of mentioned like the reasons why they keep meeting throughout life, or like things that maybe happened in the past, but then it didn't really actually go into detail about any of them. I guess I just felt like it was underdeveloped. And the only like saving grace of this book was one of the side characters, Calvin, and Calvin deserved better. I'm just gonna say that. Another book that I feel like made no sense was A Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas Westerbeek. This just wants to be Addie LaRue. Like, this just so badly wants to be Addie LaRue, and it wasn't. So this is following, what's her name? Aubrey, and as a kid, Aubrey becomes cursed to never be able to stay in the same place for longer than like a couple days, or she will bleed to death, and she can't return to a place that she's already been. So she's basically stuck forced to travel around the world. And there's certain elements of this book that just, again, similar to The Emperor in the Endless Palace, just could have been explained and explored and just weren't. So there's like a puzzle ball that was just kind of there and wasn't really talked about or explored. There's the presence of like these libraries that also weren't talked about or explored. And then just the reasonings for the curse in the first place. Like, back to me saying that this book just wanted to be Addie LaRue. Like, in Addie LaRue, you know why. Like, you know why she has the curse that she has. You know why the things that are happening. And in here, like, you don't. Like, you don't ever really get to know why she has this curse and like the reasonings for it or the purpose or like what the puzzle ball in the library has to do with it. And the ending made absolutely no sense. Like, this book could have been so good if those elements were like tied together or explained or explored, and they just weren't, and it bothered me. And this book was just way too long and really repetitive. Like, she would go somewhere and she'd start bleeding, and then she'd have to rush to leave, and then she'd go somewhere else, and she'd get comfortable and she'd meet someone and she'd like them, but then she would bleed and she'd have to leave. Like, it just became like so repetitive. I did like the parts where we got her spending more time with like certain characters, kind of like traveling with those characters. I liked that aspect, but again, everything else just was not explained enough for my liking. The Other Side of Night by Adam Hamdy. This one I have a very particular gripe with, and that is that, okay, wait, I'll tell you what it's about first. So it is about a cop who loses her job and then is convinced that her ex-boyfriend may be responsible for the death of his two friends, and he is now in charge, or he's like the guardian of their son. But she is convinced that maybe he has something bad to do with this whole situation. So I say boyfriend because my main gripe with this is that they had 2 dates. So throughout the whole book, she's like, oh, he wasn't like that when I met him, and I just can't believe that he would do something like that. And like, she's like, you know, like ruminating over this love that she lost. And like the whole time I'm like, you had 2 dates. So I felt like it was just like that just made the whole book like stupid to me. The main reason why I was excited to read this book is because I heard that it had a really good twist. And I can't really tell you any other elements of this book, or I feel like it would make it easy to guess what that twist would be. But I was reading this book like expecting this twist, and so the whole book just kind of felt slow to me. Like, I feel like the author started writing this book with this twist in mind, and then the whole book just kind of felt like filler to get to the twist. And the twist just kind of makes everything in the book like really creepy. Like, it makes all of the relationships, to me at least, it felt creepy. The Adult by Bronwyn Fisher. All I have to say is that this book just gave me nothing. Like, I just felt nothing. I just felt blank. I had no feelings. This was about a young, like 18-year-old college student, and you're following her like navigating starting school and moving away and making friends, and she gets involved with this older lady, and it's kind of like about their relationship. Honestly, that's all I have to say about it. I just felt nothing. Okay, now, the very first time I have given a 1-star rating is to The Enigma of Room 622 by Joelle Dicker. I did not think I would hate this book this much. This is a mystery book, and like, okay, it's one of those books where like the author like put themselves in the book, but like put themselves in the book discovering the mystery and investigating the mystery and writing the book. But that did not need to be in the book. So we start off with the author going away and staying at this hotel because he needs like a break, and he's like going to write a book. And then he discovers that like the room 622, like it goes 621A, 621B, 623. And so he's like, well, where's room 622? So then he figures out that there was a murder in that room, and then he is going around with another guest from the hotel trying to solve the murder. So we get little snippets of them looking into the murder, and then we get like the story of what happened. And I think if I knew that the mystery was involving like a bank, I don't think I would have even picked up the book. Like, so the whole mystery centers around people in a bank, and like becoming the new president of this bank. And the board of directors are choosing the new president, and it's like drama surrounding that. And this book was so long. Like, oh, I wish I had it, but I had to return it back to the library. It was like between 500 and 600 pages. And the parts of the author like writing the story did not need to be in the book. Like, it literally was pointless. Also, like, none of these problems would be problems if people just like finish their sentences or stop changing their mind. Like, I swear 75% of the book was, I need to tell you something, but then we got interrupted. Where are you going? He walked away without telling me. But wait, he trailed off. Like, like that was like so much of the book. I was like, will you finish your sentence? Like, oh my God, it was so annoying. And also everyone changing their mind. Like, oh, we're going to do this. Just kidding. We're going to do this instead. Just kidding. We're going to go back to the first thing. Well, maybe we'll go back to the second thing. Well, wait, what were we going to do again? Like, that was the whole book. And the reveal of like what is going on. Oh my God, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It was so bad, you guys. It was so bad. It was so bad. I think if the book wasn't like 8 billion years long, it would have been okay. Like, it could have, oh my God, it could have been so condensed. Also, like, oh my God, if you want to do this, just do this. Like, I hate in books when the characters find reasons not to do the thing that they really want to do. Like, okay, you want to do this, or you want to be with this person, or you want to go here, then fucking do it. Like, why do you need to make it so complicated? Just do the thing that you want to do. This book was so stupid, you guys. It was so stupid. It was so bad. It was so bad. Okay, I need to move on. Okay, next category. We had the good, we had the bad, and now we have the medium, aka books I thought I'd like more. Firstly, we have This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. This is about two rivals on opposite sides of a time war, and they are finding creative ways, more and more creative ways to leave each other letters throughout time. And the letters kind of go from like a taunting rivalry to like them falling in love. And I started liking this book more when I realized that I was just getting letters. Like, I wasn't getting any explanation of the world or why they're in this time war or why they're on opposite ends of it or like what's the purpose, what's the goal. I was just getting letters. Like, you don't really get any backstory or any world building. You just get them leaving letters in like the most like obscure ways possible. So go into it not expecting much of a plot, just expecting letters. Next is a book that I put in my like predicting my top 10 favorite books of the year, and it's Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. This is about Annie, who is a AI girlfriend, and she's programmed to be the perfect girlfriend, but then she starts, you know, getting more and more sentient or gaining more consciousness, getting smarter, and then the smarter she gets, the worse she starts behaving. And I think I just thought it would be more sci-fi. Like, there was an okay amount of like kind of like shop talk, like her programming or her like how she was developing her consciousness. But at its core, it was really just about an abusive relationship. It was just following the relationship between Annie and her owner, Doug, and you just had to experience him being like a piece of shit all the time, and it was just exhausting. Like, I thought it was going to be more sci-fi-ish, but it was really just like their relationship, and it just kind of got exhausting after a while. Like, it was a short book, but it was just like yawn, you know? Okay, lastly, the last book I read was Outline by Rachel Cusk. This one was interesting because this is just a book about like a writer and her interactions with people and like the stories that those people are telling her. So it starts off with her traveling to Athens to teach this writing course, and she meets this guy on a plane, and he just tells her life story. And then, you know, the students in the class are telling her stories, their life stories, and then the person that she's staying with, and then she meets these other people, and it's just them talking and sharing stories with each other. So there's no plot, it's just that. And I listened to this on audiobook, and the funny thing is this book was so easy to tune out of. Like, I would have it on my headphones and I would zone out completely, and then I would zone back in and like hear the most like beautiful like lyrical thing that was said. Like the writing was really beautiful, and like certain things, like little sound bites, I would be like, oh, that is a beautiful line, or like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I would immediately zone out again. So I don't really, and then I didn't feel like I really got anything out of it. I think I still will read the series. There's 2 more books in this series. I don't know if like we're following the same person or if it's just kind of like similar people sharing stories with each other. I will continue, but yeah, I definitely just tuned out. I think maybe if I had the physical book in front of me and I was actually like could see these lines written out, maybe I'd have different like feelings overall about it. Also, it's one of those books where when people are talking, I'm just the whole time I'm just thinking like, who is actually having conversations like this? Who is actually talking like this? Like some of the things that they would say, I'd be like, I don't think people talk like this, like so philosophically. Like it's just not realistic to me. Like I don't think those sentences and like the way those like sentences are structured, like I just don't think that those words come out of people's mouths in real life. But yeah, those are all the books that I have read so far this year, and thank you for watching if you did, and hopefully I see you in my next video.